Welcome in, everyone, to the Surgecast. I am out in front of the camera tonight as we break down the Canes' round one victory over the New Jersey Devils. We'll end up next week or over the weekend talking about the preview for the Cap series, but right now we're talking about the Canes' round one series win. Zach, Kat, how you doing? How are you feeling about moving on to the second round?
Go ahead, Cal. We'll start with you.
She's muted. Oh no.
What's funnier is literally me saying it couldn't come at a better time because I'm a little under the weather. Clearly, I left myself muted to start. But yeah,
We're getting there.
I'm glad that they finished out the series because that game took everything left of me. And I just wanted a few days to relax and watch other people stress about hockey while I got over this cold. And I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, doing good. I mean, it's 7 out of 7, winning at least a series in the playoffs. You love to see it. Definitely crazy with all that extra hockey we got, but feeling pretty good. I mean, it's always a great night to talk hockey, especially Hurricanes. So yeah, definitely ready to recap what that insane round one for our Carolina Hurricanes for sure. How are you doing,
right.
Rich? How are you doing, Rich?
I'm doing great. I love when I'm able to come out from behind the curtain, show who's working the Wizard of Oz, all that good stuff.
just don't look at the man behind the curtain.
That's right. We're making it happen tonight, and we'll get into all the fun of round one in a second. But first, Halsey's staying. Got him locked into the 3-year extension, $3.167 million AAV.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on that? Because we'll get to his comments shortly, but I think every Caniac saw it as well, though, from the time he got here. This dude's bought in. He goes from the Blackhawks, bottom of the barrel, to playoff contender. Probably brought new life into this man.
I feel like everyone has been saying, okay, re-sign him for like weeks now. And they've been talking about it, that it's in the works, and then it comes now. Honestly, he has been performing since he got to Carolina. He's been showing he's bought in, like you said. He's dialed in, wants to be here, really wants stability for him and his family. And honestly, I will get to his quotes about it, which are been fantastic. Honestly, fantastic. But it's really interesting that they got this done right as the first round was done, because it made me think, okay, maybe they're wanting to see, is he going to put in, is he going to be a playoff guy as well? And he did. It stayed the same. His production, he was like, I'm going to grind just as if we're finishing out the regular season into playoffs. I'm not going to disappear. I'm going to make an impact. And they're like, all right, bet. Here's your money.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because like you said, you get the trade done the 24th, 3-way team. And you're thinking, okay, it's the other guy that's kind of the main thing till it kind of starts the whole process to that. Then he goes on to What's Chaos like 4 days later on the 28th, and he brings up he's at the point of his career. He's got a family. They want to stay in one place. He's hoping it's Carolina, and it's definitely worked out. That reality has finally happened for Taylor Hall. Like you said, 3 years, $3.167 million per. Like, that is an absolute win-win for the Hurricanes, because you look at it, and it's a win for the Hurricanes because you just got a veteran who is a first overall pick in 2010, won the MVP in 2018. You're adding a guy that you can throw into your top 6. Power play contributor, which we've already seen this year. 4 of his 9 goals with the Hurricanes have all been on the power play. Like, he's shooting at like a 14.6%. Like, the last time he had a season where he was at 14 or more was when he was an MVP. So you're adding that as a veteran to the top 6, to the power play. And you can definitely tell he's bought in right from the jump. And that's what the thing about Rod Brind'Amour said too earlier in April, was where he said Hall has just come into the locker room, and it's not like, oh, I'm a former MVP, you need to listen to me. He's like, no, he's just come in and wants to help the team out and know his role. And he even said, I know we'll talk about more of his quotes, but you can definitely tell like the buy-in from just the jump. You can definitely tell that Hall has It's the point in the career where he just wants to be a contributor to a team. And the fact that the Hurricanes did it with this cap hit is absolutely fantastic. It's a win on both sides, honestly. You go from to this. How can you be mad about this contract? It's so great.
I love the fact that we spent a good hour and a half episode and we brought up Taylor Hall for maybe 3 to 5 minutes at most when the initial trade happened.
Oh, yeah.
Which, joke's on us. But to see that happen, like you're talking about, Zach, that cap hit with the team that they have for a while, really over the next 2 seasons after this year, they have a huge core that's still around. So there's not it's not a quote unquote window, but like these guys are going to be here and competing for a good 2 years. And then we talk about that's when, Stahl leaves, maybe Martinook goes, Aho become captain, all that stuff down the line. But this group is assembled for at least another good 2 years coming up, and that's very exciting.
Can you blame us though with Mikko? Like that was finally the super big trade that everyone was all about. Like none of us could have seen, oh, well, this guy's just not going to work. So of course we got really excited, and Hall is a good player. We definitely mentioned him throughout it, but that wasn't the big news of the trade. Literally Chicago was threw him in for free. And it's kind of like you get your kid a toy and then they're more excited about the box it came in. That's exactly how all the Canes fans were. And so now we've got Taylor Hall, which him talking on 99 The Fan, his quote, I know everyone's all right, moved on from the trade deadline, but his quote just so summarizes it is nothing against Mikko, but we needed guys that wanted to be here, and we needed guys that were fully bought into the way that we play. When the trade deadline passed, we kind of took off.
I love the honesty because everyone saw
love that he said we needed guys that were fully bought into the way we play. He wasn't part of the we. He came in and they immediately said, "You are part of the we," and he said, "Yeah, I am." And Mikko never was. Mikko was like, I need to focus on me. This isn't how I'm feeling. Da, da, da. And Taylor Hall got here and he was like, okay, we, the Carolina Hurricanes, what are we doing?
Yeah. And that's the crazy part too, is the fact you look at him and it's he's at that point of his career. You're talking end of year 15, 909 games played. He's closing in on 800 points. You're looking at, I think it's the 26-27 season, year 2 of his contract. He's going to hit 1,000 games. And it's going to be with Carolina. And the fact that you add a veteran like that and somebody's just come in and do his job. If you're Carolina, you love that. And the fact that you got him in such a great AAV. And you talk about it, Rich, how this team is assembled. I looked at where you're looking at in terms of the contracts. You're looking at $44 million for the forward core next year. And you add in his contract because they already have it projected for next year. I think they're looking at $30 to $31 million left in cap space, including Hall's contract. It's not even including Nikishin's less than $1 million that he's going to get. So you're looking at a very open reload where you're looking just for a couple pieces. But you add Hall, there's 3 guys on the Hurricanes making over $7 million. It's Jarvis, Svechnikov, and Aho. That's it. Everyone else is I think Jesperi is the next highest at 4 and some change. Outside, Jacob Slavin's 6.3 kicks in next year too, which is still insane that we got the best defensive defenseman on that contract. But like I said, you got 4 guys making over $6 million. Where you look at all these other teams, guys are making you have 4 guys over 10. But that's the one thing about Carolina too that's so great. It's not and Rod said a lot. This isn't a one guy or one line. The Hurricanes are a fit team. This is a system built on fit, and that's why all these guys work so well together. Can you play our style of hockey? If you can, then you'll survive here, and that's why this team is so good because they're not built on straight skill. It's do you fit the system?
And to that point, I think that's why the contracts work the way they do. It's guys who are bought in that say, it's a we thing, not a me thing. And that's why the contracts look the way they do. And the Canes have all that cap flexibility because guys aren't trying to make 14, 15 mil. Well, they're let me do what I need to do. Slavin included.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. If you think about it, Rich, what team have we heard in the last decade that's done that where all these guys are staying here and making less than market value, but they want to stay there with good contracts to give the team flexibility? You know who that team is? That was the Boston Bruins when you had Bergeron, Marchand, Chara, all those guys. That was a team that was They had a lot of guys making less than their market value because they wanted to keep building, and that's what the Hurricanes are doing. It's working a system, but it's also making contracts work to give team. Like all these guys are like, I just want to help the team, and that's where you see guys taking so much. Like
I want to help the team, and also I don't like. Yeah, maybe I could go somewhere else and get paid more. But is that a team that's going to be in the compete for a while? Probably not. And is that going to be a place I want to uproot my life and put my family? Probably not. So they're like, yeah, pay me. Like I will take this pay, which is still good pay. But then I'll be around guys that I want to play with, a system I know, a place I've been calling home forever, and I want to stay here as long as possible.
Jacob Slavin, one of them, Seth Jarvis, like they both took deferred money to stay here. Like Jacob Slavin is the best. He could easily get to close to $9 million as the best defensive defenseman. He's like, no, I'll take less than 6.5 and stay in Carolina for the next 8 seasons. No, it never is, but that's why you see guys like Chatfield taking 3, Martinook stayed and took 3. Like we have so many guys taking around $3 million. Like Walker came here for 5 years at 3.6, and Gostisbehere for 3.2. Like guys are coming here like we want to be here, and the thing is, you love the area too. Like there's alumni who are still here.
I won't get this podcast sidetracked, but Kat, that just leads to my point that we'll talk a lot over the summer. McDavid 26.
Oh my gosh!
Who said that? Also, whoa, you have the Kat money.
Also, not to get sidetracked, but we are live, so I do have to say the East is now finally all set for round 2. It'll be the Leafs versus
Florida
as we play the Caps. So the Leafs have finished out their series. I'm sure their fans are not at all stressed.
Sure.
But that means with the East being set, that includes us finishing our series. Want to get into games 3 and 4 a little bit and just talk about the series as a whole? Answer yes.
yeah. It was game.
He was like, I'm not even gonna put a question mark on the end of that.
Yeah, it's like no. Yeah, game 4. I mean, you come out. Game 3 was kind of rough. It is what it is. But you come in for game 4 and absolutely just dominate. Like that's all you can ask for. Like Andrei Svechnikov, we've been waiting for that. You love to see it. The only guy to have 2 postseason. We're not counting because they're that qualifying round. They put a caveat on that, but it's 2 postseason hat tricks. Only guy in Hurricanes Withers history to do it. You love to see it, and he just plays lights out. And you look at game 5. I mean, that was absolutely insane. You're down 3-0 after 10, first 10 minutes. Come back for a wild second period. We score 4 goals. Like my goodness, and then takes the double overtime. And Sebastian Aho does what he does best in overtime, wins the dang thing. And I'll say this: like the big question coming into the playoffs was what? Can you win on the road? Well, the Hurricanes did it in game 4. And then how is the special teams, mainly the power play, going to be? Because you're talking about the 25th ranked power play coming into the playoffs. You go 6 for 19. You know that's where where the Hurricanes sit, Rich, at 6 at 9, like at that 6th best power play at 31.6%. Like that's insane. The fact that you have a power play that's clicking at over a 31% rate in your top 6, and everyone thought that were going to be a struggle. They scored 6 power play goals, and their penalty kill. How about 15 for 15? The only team to go a perfect 100%. But here's the thing, though: their net power play, their net penalty kill percentage, 106%, because they got a shorty. Like in unreal special team stats. Unreal.
Looking at this series, I'm so happy that Svech is finally playing the Svech that we've been asking for a long time now. Like it's so crazy how he just turned on this switch and he's like, okay, I'm back. And thankfully, like it's like, you want to show up for playoffs? It's a great time to show up. Please do. So Svech has been honestly unreal. He's been like throwing everything he can at the net. He's been driving hard. He's been winning board battles, but he's also like, what's really noticeable for him is he's been keeping his cool. Like he's throwing hits, but if guys go after him or anything, he's backing away. He's not going after him. And he's like, hey, if you're going to get the call, you're going to get the call, but I'm going to benefit from it. And I feel like that's a lot of growth coming from Svech.
Has he even been called for a penalty in this series? I don't think he even was. If my memory serves me correct, I don't think
believe
Svech
so, but I'm going to knock on wood because I'm sure that might happen in the Capitals matchup. But this series, I mean, it was always, despite what PK Subban said, it was always supposed to be Carolina's series. Not that New Jersey is a bad team. It's just their injuries, the way that Carolina was going into it. Like, it was Carolina was going to be the team that got out of this. And if you look at all the different games, the score kind of reflects that. Even the game that we dropped, like they had to go to overtime. It was like a squeaky goal. And that was a game where the guys didn't come. We said, okay, they're probably going to drop one because it's going to be away. They're not going to come out as hard. It's going to be a switch up.
Yeah, we called it was game 3. It just wasn't the same goalie that we picked. But
and I mean, that's what happened when the guys, every time they took their mind off of it for a second, New Jersey was able to surge back into it. And I'm not upset with this series. And it showed, even the games that they were down, it showed how much Carolina was going to fight and say, hey, we're not going to be, we could drop this game and be fine, but we're going to fight. So we're going to do everything we can to not drop a game because we want to be done. We want to show that we are going to play 100% every game, even when we have a bad start.
Right.
So, special teams. Those are two things we said you've needed in playoffs, and the special teams have showed up. The other half of that is we also said you needed a hot goalie, and we did have that at one point.
Oh, gosh. Here we go. Buckle up, kids.
Buckle up. All right. So the talk going into it was there was a stretch there at the end where Piotr and Freddie were both on fire. Like, it was like, great, you have the best tandem going in right now. And then towards the end, Piotr got cold. Like, he just wasn't playing well. I mean, there weren't good games from the guys in front of him either, but Piotr was not playing Piotr hockey. Still isn't. But Freddie was hot. So Freddie gets the start. And he was playing nonstop. And he is playing great. It was literally Freddie's call, like, hey, put me back in. I'm fine. And we're going to keep riding Freddie. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of the hit. And it's not even, it makes me more mad because it's our goalie. But if I watch around the league, I just don't think goalies are protected enough. And that's my thing. If they come out of their crease, if they're back behind the net, like, there's a little bit of differences there. And I'm like, okay, like, they're putting themselves in a more vulnerable position, but their position itself is vulnerable. And the guys are supposed to have consequences for driving so hard into the crease recklessly. I've seen players stop. Svech himself on that play stopped from going into the crease. You can say he bumped Meier, but he stopped. And Meier's a big guy, and I don't think I've seen Svech throw a hit. That was not a hit from Svech. If anything, it's a bump.
It was basically, as Elliot Freeman said, it was a love tap. And Freeman said it. I think even
Biz said it too. He said, if you tell me Svech pushed him in there, you're blind.
I forget. Kyle Bukowski even said it too on 32. I think basically all 3 guys on 32 Thoughts said that should have been a penalty. Like, basically,
if
almost
anything,
everyone.
It at least needs to be interference.
That's what they said it was. They said it should have been interference, at minimum interference, and that's it. A 5 would maybe have been a little much, but it should have been straight up 2 minutes. Interference.
I don't know how you look at it, say 5 and then go down to nothing, because it should at least be interference. If it was a goal, like Brind'Amour said, if it was going to be anywhere like a goal, you would have looked at it for interference. I mean, the thing that bothers me about it is he drives hard. He's not making any effort to hold up. Even with a bump from Svech, there's no effort to hold up. And when he gets in there, he comes to a hard stop, and you can physically see him lower his shoulder and use Freddie as a brace. Freddie does not fully see him. Freddie's looking at the puck and turns. Meier is there. Meier has dropped his shoulder and used Freddie as a brace. That's not what the goalie is. He is not your stopping point.
Well, the thing too is it's the fact that he's on the goal line. He's not expecting to get hit from Meier.
He's not at the top of the crease. He's not at the top of the crease challenging him. That's way different. Yeah, that's where, okay, I'm on the border of being outside of my zone. Freddie is literally, that is his house. That's his territory. And Meier is in it, running him over.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. And the fact, like I said, 5, whatever. There's nothing you can do about that. But it should have at least been a 2, like I said. even Mike and Shane said it, and you know how they have to be very pro Hurricanes, but they're right. But like they're very fair about when they come to some of their takes.
But like I said, the intermission broadcast guys were all on our side too, and I was like,
oh yeah, like I said,
if they're agreeing with us.
Yeah, Freeman, Bukoskits, and I forget who the other guy. I think Justin from, like I said, from 32 Thoughts. All of them were saying it should have been 2 minutes at minimum. This should have just been something to go from nothing to something, for go from something to nothing. And then of course Meyer scores. Like that's almost, it's like salt in the wound of the guy who threw that hit scored, but it is what it is.
I've chanted, I've gone through it, and I've discoursed it, like gone through discourse with so many people about it. So I won't linger on it too much, because a lot of people are like, you must be crazy if you think he went in intent to injure. So there's a difference. I think he went in recklessly to the point where he didn't care if he ran into Freddie. And it's not like I'm going in to hurt Freddie, but it's also, there's a difference of I'm going in challenging hard, got to get out of the way. There was no way, show of sign that he was trying to get out of the way and not run into Freddie. Was I thinking he was going in there thinking I'm going to plow him over and injure this goalie that literally has my number and I can't score? Not exactly. Do I think, hey, I'm going to drive into the paint if I run into the goalie and take him down and I get a goal or I make a move? Like, that's fine. I think that's the viewpoint. And just the way that Meyer had been playing the whole series, where he was doing little dirty things and going after players and stuff like that. That's why I think he had intent of doing a reckless play. Do I think he went intent to injure? Not exactly. Do I think he had intent to not be as careful as he should be around the crease? Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's wild how the whole sequence was. And I mean, if you're talking about like guys who definitely took the brunt end of maybe guys being reckless, I mean, you gotta feel for Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Like, my goodness, his eye did not.
But he kept his teeth. I thought it was his teeth, and good for him.
That still photo of that stick being like his face was contorted, but that was pretty brutal. But like the fact he's like media availability saying, nope, be ready to go for game one. Like, in the fact that the Shane Gostisbehere is like, yeah, I mean, all hell to his right eyebrow was just so funny.
Yeah, and also, just to say, for
man,
the little bit of discourse from some Devils fans saying, well, it's a follow through. Follow through with a shooting motion, but the guy just passed it to the left, and he was trying to move his stick over to get around KK, and he brought his stick up into KK's face instead. It's not he literally had already done a little pass to the side and was moving his stick. It wasn't a follow through. Unfortunately, like I know sometimes people get called for the follow through. That wasn't a follow through.
There's a lot of analysts that said that was not a follow through. That was a straight up guy was just being Mercer was reckless with the stick. That's what
if you're passing it low pass to the left hand side, there's no reason your stick should come up that high at all.
And to get a dude in the face with it, like but yeah, it's poor Sperry, man. It sucks for Freddie. He's gonna be practicing with the team on Friday, so hopefully there's some good signs. But I mean, outside of Freddie, and then maybe just
we do have to give our flowers to Piotr though, because talking about after Freddie got injured, came in cold, got a little bit rattled. For him to stay in there. Mm-hmm. And keep the lead, keep his composure when he may not have. That was huge, because Rod even said it after the game, something along the lines of, he got a bit rattled, but he didn't let it completely get to him. So that was huge for him to stand up there.
I mean, 14 out of 15, 14 out of 15 and 9. I think it was I forget what save percentage it was, but it was way over 9. So, gotta give Pierre some credit. Like, that was way to dig deep after giving a goal on the second shot that he faced in that game. Like you said, Rich, coming in cold like that in a pressure cooker. Yeah, that's definitely tough. But he's able to lock it in. And
I mean, you could tell after he got a couple shots, he got more focused. He felt more settled, and like what you need is for him to be settled to start with. But it was good to see him get more into the game. And I love what they asked Fetch. They're like, hey, what did you say to him at that, especially in the fifth game? And they're like, you're down 3-0. What did you say to Piotr there? And he goes, I didn't say a whole lot. I literally just went up to him and said, hey, I believe in you, brother. You're the best goalie. Like, go play.
And pretty much like
such a simple, most encouraging thing you could say. Because Piotr's probably in his head rethinking them, like, oh man, like I need to be dialed in for this game, which the whole team wasn't super dialed in the first period. It's not
Jordan Stahl, my gosh. Like, you're talking about like being absolutely blunt in an intermission interview. Basically said, yeah, we basically just strapped down the guy. Let's just go out there and play. And, or, you know, it's like, oh, it's like easy. And it's, you could definitely, and the fact that he's like, yeah. And, you know, Aho's in there just giving it to the team. I'm like, that's pretty much being straight up blunt with like, yeah, we basically coasted into the first period and Aho was absolutely ripping. Yeah, that's really saying something for the fact that the leadership did not let this team crumble. And Rod even said it too. It's like, this is resilience, man. Like, you got down and they didn't quit and they fought back. Like, that shows you how this Hurricanes team is. Like, no lead is ever safe against Carolina. Like, you can be down that many goals and still come back the way they did it too. Man, never count them out. Cardiac Canes for a reason.
And we'll get into Washington next week. But even the game versus Washington this season, they came back and almost went to the game, lost in a shootout. But yeah, still, to your point, Zach, the Canes are never out. They are never out. Mm-hmm. Give them, especially early on, if the Canes go down 3-0. In my head, I was like, there's so much game left. Like, I am not worried about this at all because this is a team, like you said, they fight, they battle, they scrap. They are never out.
You know what's funny though, Rich? I think it was the first intermission. I haven't, you know, the meme that I usually post, like if the Canes are down pretty, you know, it's like 2 goals or something like that. It's like, there's still time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to post the meme. Let's see if it works. I posted it. 4 goals in the second period. And they win the sucker in double overtime. I'm like, yes, the meme worked. So yeah, I mean, hey, there's still time. There's always time. Like I said, never count the Canes. That's the one thing about this team is the resilience of like, you'll see other teams. I know you guys are probably seeing a lot across the league where teams are down. They kind of just mail it in. I don't really see the hurt. Maybe there's like 1 or 2. There's a couple games where you kind of been like, oh, they're not really feeling it. But I would say about 90% of the season, you've seen the Hurricanes fight back. They don't roll over. They're not just like, all right, game's done. We're just going to pack it in. Like, that's not. If you're talking about a team who's built their identity around the mentality of their head coach, that's the Hurricanes with Rod Brind'Amour. Because you know Rod will never let this team mail it in. Like, you know that's just never going to happen. I think that's the one thing about the Canes. Like I said earlier about this team is built on fit. This is a fit system team where you built guys who fit in this system. This is a team who's like, you're going to buy in to what we're asking for. And that's the mentality of you're not going to quit. And that's because Rod Brind'Amour is a guy who never quit.
I can't remember the exact quote, but when Jarvie was on Spittin' Chicklets, right before the season started, he says something along the lines of like, oh, like if I pull that on Rod, something like about not trying or like a fancy move, like he punched me through the wall. That's just,
oh yeah, I remember
that.
Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, you're kind of like,
there is no fancy stuff with Rod.
No,
there's no mailing it in. He will tear you a new one. That's a terrifying man to get mad at you.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked him after game 2 because the one thing he's always preached about, and I asked him this, and we'll talk about Jordan Martinook, was you preach about guys doing their job off the score sheet. It's not, scoring goals is great, all that stuff, but are you doing the right things to help the team? Are you playing your role to help the team out? That's important too. And the fact that you got a guy like Jordan Martinook getting rewarded like that in the series against the Devils again speaks a lot. And like you said, Rich, this is where, are you doing your job? That's what matters. That is just as important. I think that's what you see from this Hurricanes team is, like, I know Ray's sending us a lot of comments. We appreciate you, brother. You brought Mark Jankowski. Mark Jankowski fits his role so great. He is a big dude who, in a tight series like this, where you're kind of throwing some extra hits and throwing some big bodies, that's the guy you need to have on a PK. Where now you're probably, then Shane and Mike brought this up on the Canes cast from today. You're adding another PK guy to have 3 sets of penalty kill units. You're not running the same 2, and he wins faceoffs. Adding Jankowski's size helps. You add Roslovic for his goal scoring. Like, this is the most healthiest Hurricanes team we've seen in the playoffs in a long time, and they're one of the most deepest teams. That's why this series, you saw Carolina impose their will, because they can just throw guys out there for, like, it's strategy scenarios. The Hurricanes aren't just big, okay, we got to figure out who we're going to throw on the ice because all these guys are out. No, this is like, it's the riches of, okay, we have all these guys we can just go to. Like, hey, we need you for this type of setup. You're going in for this game. Or, hey, we need more scoring. You're going in this game. Like, we're going on strategy now.
Well, Kat, I'm sure as many Caniacs were calling for Jank as well to get him in the lineup. Big body.
Yeah. I think the first 1 to 2 games, I think Rozovic had a decent game, but he was definitely getting bullied out there a little bit. We needed a little bit extra size. But you didn't want to give up the firing power and the scoring opportunities for size. And so that's when you put Jankowski in there, because he's also, like you said, he's giving you all the defense. He plays the stall role on the penalty kill. He's good in the face. He can do the face-offs, but he's also dangerous. Like literally his first game in, I think he dinked it off the post. So
yeah,
it's a guy where I kind of want to say he's like a jack of all trades kind of player, because he can fit so many roles for us right now. So I was excited to see him go in. I don't know. You're going to need his size again as we look at the caps coming up. So I don't know if Rosie will get back into the lineup at one point. But I was really glad to see Jankowski in there, because his chemistry with like Robinson or whoever's down on the fourth line with him has always been really good.
Robinson. It was Robinson and Stank. Like you literally had a line of Robinson and Stank and Jank on
also,
the same line.
You know that line.
My
you also
goodness.
know that line's not going to, like, with how well Stankoven was having a great series. So coming in there, knowing that's your fourth line, you know their minutes aren't going to be that limited because of how well all of them were playing. They got put out there quite a bit.
That's what I'm saying. That's the one good thing about the Hurricanes is their depth is so insane. Like, and Elliot Friedman talked about it. Rod Brind'Amour will play all of his guys. He doesn't shorten the bench. Everyone's going to get their minutes. Yeah, maybe not every guy's going to get 14 minutes, but you're going to get 12, 13 minutes in a game. Like, that's the one good thing about the Hurricanes is they have the riches of having of guys that are like, all right, who can we bring in? Like, what's the matchup situation? But guys are going to play their role and they're play their game. Rod doesn't hide guys. Like, and that's the one thing about him. Is like, if you're not 100%, we're not going to throw you out there because we're not going to limit you. If we're putting you in the lineup, you're going to play your minutes. And that's
if you have super limited minutes and you're on the bench, Rod's mad at you.
Yeah.
Like, if you've only played a few minutes, there's something wrong. Like, you've done something, and Rod is like, yeah, you're not going back in.
Yeah, that, like I said, that's the one thing where Rod is not going to hide guys. Like, that's just not his MO. Like, if you're in the lineup, you're going to be playing games. And just the fact that you look at, look at all these other teams that are in the playoffs. Like, what roster right now can you look at and be like, okay, this line's dangerous. This line's dangerous. This line's dangerous. Oh, yeah, and this line's dangerous. Like, you have 4 lines of guys who can, like, score. We have depth scoring across this lineup. Oh, and let's look at the defense. Like, Jacob Slavin scores a wonder goal over Markstrom's shoulder in game 4, I believe, which was just absolutely disgusting on his part. Shane Gostisbehere scored.
Cat could not shut up about that goal, which is very valid.
That's very valid.
Forward Slavin.
Yeah,
it was disgusting. It was disgusting, and the fact
the Slavin fans,
that Nason even said, like, he's going to choose his teammate, but when they asked him about Pesce and Slavin, he said Pesce was on the same caliber as Slavin, and I love Pesce. First of all, handshake line was with Pesce.
Yeah, we'll get to that later.
If I wasn't so dang dehydrated at that moment, more tears probably would have come out. But the fact that he said, yeah, Pesce is up there with Slavin, and I'm like, after Slavin undressed you and scored that goal, I don't know if you can fully say that. Is Pesce top tier, almost right up there with Slavin? Yeah. Are they the exact same? No.
Yeah, like I say, you're getting depth scoring from everybody. Everyone's scoring goals. Like I said, Slavin scoring, Ghost, Burns, Taylor Hall scored, Stank scored, like Svetch goes for a Hattie. And Sebastian Aho goes for an 8-point, like, I'm just going to just run you. And Sebastian Aho did Sebastian Aho things. Like, 8 points in 5 games is crazy. And how about Svetch? Tied for the playoff lead in goals. 5. He has 5. He scored 4 of them in the last 2 games. Like, my goodness. Scoring, you get a goal. You get a goal. You get a goal. That's all it was for the Hurricanes.
Well, you want to know what, Zach? You know what everyone else 21 plus can get in on? DraftKings.
What's that? DraftKings. Oh, that was sir.
Yeah. There we are.
I tip my cap to you. That was fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So the NBA 82 game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays. I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. You know what else folks can get in on? The NHL Shop. It's playoffs. All the playoff merch is here. Get in, whether it's your team, whether you're a team of a fan of someone else for whatever crazy reason, the NHL Shop has you covered. Yeah, why not? Buy it all. We won't mind. We can get in. We have our link posted on all of our link trees. You check out the links. Let me share the official link since it's still a goofy one at the moment. But go to nhlshop.775j.net/JEZ6B6. I wonder if I go.
Hopefully, we can get that switch and be like, all right, let's make it simple for you guys. But
that's on
right there on this. Yeah, there we go.
That is
it's right there on the screen. It ain't a pretty one, but hey, it works. Takes you right to the NHL Shop. We can shop all 32, right? No,
32.
Am I
32.
off on my teams? Okay,
32,
I thought I was tripping for a second. All 32 teams.
Yeah, you're right.
Utah included. You can get in at NHL Shop. That's
Utah, which might be we might all know now. It might be for sure Utah Mammoths now that they slipped on their YouTube channel. Unfortunate there, but
but you know
so
what?
When that drop comes out,
yeah. Hey, but you know what?
Comes out, come get it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just saying, click that link and get yourself some Taylor Hall jerseys. You know he'll be there for a couple seasons, so
that's right.
Taylor Hall, some Stank.
Hall, Stank. Ghost Walker. There's a Jarvie. There's a bunch of guys. There's a lot of guys you can get jerseys for. That's just the one good thing about the Hurricanes. Everyone's available. Everybody.
And then not only that, got to touch on the OG. Summer's here, right? They got some new hours.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, some new hours. What are they, Zach?
Oh, putting me on the spot like that. I was even put me on the spot. I'm like, wait a minute. I just sent the link for it. You know what? Yeah.
Primo X Hockey, new hours coming to you soon.
For his group project, he's like, here's the link to my research. Oh, you need me to actually tell you what
so Mondays 10 to 6. They are closed on Tuesdays, but Wednesday and Thursday is also 10 to 6, Friday as well. Saturday is 9 a.m. to 3, so a little bit shorter hours. Make sure to get in. And then Sunday, just 5 hours. It's 1 to 6. But hey, you know what? Go support those guys. They're absolutely amazing. They're season ticket holders, and they're just a great group of people. Been with us since even before episode 1 was even out. So yeah, Primo is the absolute best. Love those guys. Looking for anything, they got it. They're 15 minutes from the arena. They're right there.
And with the new rinks that just opened up in Cary, all of their stuff. Come in handy.
Apex, yep.
Apex.
Oh yeah. They do have outdoor. They have outdoor pucks, and they do have stuff for rollerblades. So if you want to get your blades on, they got you. They got you with the hook up on those wheels, and they're pretty nice too. They're pretty clean and outdoor sticks. And if you need visors, if you need helmets, they got them too. Everything you need, they got it. Plus, their merch is sick. How can you not love it? Plus, if you're tailgating, they got some amazing koozies. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Just wait, though. Wait until we have a Surgecast store and we have merch, too. That would be crazy.
That is all on the summer 2025 project list. That is the goal.
just add it to the list.
We're just surviving playoffs right now.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Just give us more time. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, no. Primo is absolutely amazing. Like, we cannot thank them enough.
The one day they give us a later game, we have a double overtime. That's how it's been going. So,
no more double OTs, please. I can't stay up until
Hey, but we did break the overtime curse, so take it.
Woo!
That we did, and we broke the haters' hearts.
Yes, and just to say, knock on wood as well with this, the times that Washington has beaten us in overtime, is in shootouts. And you know what isn't in playoffs? Shootouts. Love it.
And you know what? The fact that cue up Brock McGinn. Can we get Brock McGinn in to do a siren for us at least once? That would be insane. Contractually, he probably can't because he's on another team, but that would be funny though, just for the lulz.
But yeah, we'll continue to break that down next week. Like I said, though, the haters are mad. Subban being speechless. That is an all-time video.
The Hurricanes bring out the receipts. Absolutely fantastic. You never want to give the Hurricanes ammunition to be petty because they will 100% go there. They will 100% go there.
Oh my gosh. The fact I showed Reggie this today, that clip that the Canes made regarding Subban's picking us as last. So they did their little like montage of reaction videos to that, and they played it on ESPN for Subban to talk with Seth Jarvis. And Jarvie, bless his heart, was so nice and was like, well, I'm glad we had a chance there to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
To be a fly on the wall with his boys, though, what that conversation was like, he was grilling him. But again, behind closed doors, wish you could be there. But yeah, Jarvie has gone through the media training.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%.
He knows what to say.
You know, he wanted to give, like, say with his full chest, but he didn't. But the fact that his boys, I've already asked the Hurricanes to count this. Can we have them back for the rest of the playoffs? The fact that those guys drove all the way from Winnipeg for this game, minivanned it, got in an Airbnb, and the fact that they even just told everyone to, oh yeah, Jarvie had frosted tips. Like, to see that luck of Jarvie and frosted tips would be absolutely insane. I hope someone from the team is like, hey, if the Hurricanes do this, he has to go back for frosted tips just for fun. But no, those guys are good luck. The last 2 times they've been there to see him play in an elimination game, he's won. So, but yeah,
you're not wrong.
They're not wrong, and that's funny. But the fact that it's like I said, you never want to give the Hurricanes opportunities to be petty. They certainly did that too, and the fact that they ended the video with Jarvis going, we'll just have to prove you wrong. And yeah, funny how that worked.
Well, speaking of being petty too, shout out to Kane Stats Brand for keeping track of
he was waiting. He was waiting for this one.
He wanted
to.
My favorite.
Yeah. So full stat quote: since Eric Haula was traded from the Hurricanes, no players played more games on the road against the Canes. Haula just played his 22nd game at PNC Arena / Novo Center and is now 1-21 and was just eliminated for the 4th consecutive time in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes! That is.
And I will point out that he has played so many against us because he switched around teams for so long because nobody wanted him. And then he's on the Devils, who's in our division. So obviously we're going to see them a lot. But, Devils fans will never understand for some reason why we don't get along with Haula, because they think it's just us like hating on a player. And it's like, no, you don't understand. This isn't how we are with all of our former players. We actually really love them. FYI, look at Pesci and the handshake line. But Nason was an in-between. He was an in-between. He wasn't as much love, especially, but
people are saying. They're still going to give him a lot of respect for what he did for the Canes. But yeah, he's no Pesh, he's no Brady Shea, but yeah.
No, did you see? Not to cut you off, Kat, which I know we do best here on the show. But yeah, you're not getting that smile from Rod.
Oh my gosh.
Or he Nason compared to how he was.
The way he was with Pesci, he literally was holding that. And I know he was like either nonstop complimenting, because you could see Pesci was like, no, stop it. And then he was like saying more and like hold him, and Pesci was going to skate away. And Rod said something. He's like, no, stop it. And it was like, that Rod was just like singing his praises, joking around with him. Like that is his player still. And that was a guy that did broad Brind'Amour hockey. He came in when Slavin did. They helped rebuild this team. They were the cornerstones of the defense. I say it time and time again. If Slavin is here on defense, Pesci is right here. And a lot of people, especially newer fans on the last couple seasons when Pesci was struggling with injuries and whatnot, do not understand the amount of defense and the amount of work that guy did day in and day out. The guy that was typically matched up when we would play the Capitals and would typically be the guy watching Ovechkin shot. Poor Pesci was the guy.
Well, because you're talking like 15, 16 onwards. It was him and Slavo on that top D pair for a long
them matched
time.
Together was the most elite pairing. And I know a lot of people don't remember it as much because you had to split them up because then they both were able to give defensive backing to whoever their partners were, whether it be Hamilton, whether it be D'Angelo. Any of them.
Yeah, Shea. Yeah, well, they brought Shea in. It was Shea and Pesci for a long time since 2020.
Burns now. But Slavin and Pesci together, you guys don't understand. That was an elite defensive pair. Elite. You might not have the shots you would always have from the other guys, but the defense, it was like a wall. An absolute wall.
Yes. I mean, you love it. I mean, it's still weird to see Pesci in a different black and red jersey, but it is what it is, but you still gotta love Pesci just because of him, and it's one of those things. But it's crazy when with the Hall of thing. I mean, hey, you wear a Kane suck bracelet, and that's bold for you to say that with how your record is against this team. But hey, you know what? You do you, and leave it at that. But
listen, he pokes the bear. All right, the bear is very nice. Typically, Canes fans to their own, it's like winning the poo. But if you poke us and you don't, and you get on our bad side, aka Holla, we're gonna remember. Like if you're bad talking our locker room, you're going after our own guys, you're talking bad about our coach.
It's not Holla, because obviously I wasn't around for it. I can't wait to boo the shit out of Miko when he comes to town, because that is going to be even louder than Holla, I feel like.
Yeah, well, the fact that you got, like we talked about Hall's quote earlier, that's insane. But yeah, you look at that whole situation too. It's going to be. I'm really curious how that's going to play out. But yeah,
that'll be a next season issue. We will have a next round episode coming out soon, whether it's Sunday, Monday, once we figure out the NHL schedule. But before we leave, any departing thoughts on round one, and maybe any previous thoughts heading into round two here?
Yeah, we'll let you go first on that one.
In terms of round one, I love to see, honestly, there was such all-around team efforts, whether they were up by a couple goals, whether they're down by a couple goals. The fight in this team was unreal. Looking to see Freddie back. There is some, it looks like he's going to be practicing with the team here shortly. There's some up and up on his injury. Looking to get, PK settled in a little bit more. And honestly, I just need them to stay focused. Honestly, it's the moment they take their foot off the gas, and that's when they struggle a little bit. When they play Canes hockey, I said it before, they're pretty unstoppable.
Mm-hmm. So, a lot of talk about for round one. It's kind of hard to be like, all right, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, overall, special teams, I mean, hey, special for a reason, man. It's just crazy when you look at a team who there was a lot of question marks, and they come out and did the job. PK did doing what they had to do. Power play went hot at the right time. And you see how this team is just built. The depth is great. A lot of guys are healthy. You look at this team, it's just, starts are kind of need to be a little bit better too. But overall, though, I mean, how can you not be excited for the Hurricanes right now? And the fact that you also just extended Taylor Hall for 3 more. Like, what a few hours for this team. You go from winning the series, and then you get Taylor Hall for 3 more years on top of that. And now you're looking at, hey, round 2, it's going to be nuts. And I know we'll talk about it more, and we'll have all of our predictions and stuff like that too. But because someone asked me earlier, I think it was yesterday, like, what's your confidence level for round 2? I'm like, beyond confident. Like, you'll never hear me ever say that I'm worried or I'm hesitant on the Hurricanes. And that's because this team has just proven time and time again over the last 7 seasons. You give this team enough room and you give this team enough chances, and you just rely on what they've done for so many years. How can you not be optimistic? How can you not feel confident about the Hurricanes?
Well, this is the year to be optimistic too, Zach. Don't forget that.
Exactly. That's my whole point is you can never be down on the Hurricanes. And that's the one thing about this. You go from what we saw of 5 playoffs in a long time. You go a decade without no playoffs, and then you go 7 straight seasons now, and you just see the continual build. And now you have this core of guys where like you're looking at this roster and like next offseason, there's a few holes. It's not a whole roster. It's just a couple pieces. And that's what has set this team so far apart. And that's why you just have to just enjoy the journey. And that's why for me, it's like, give me all the hockey. Give me all the Hurricanes. Because even down, good, in the middle, just enjoy it. Love Hurricanes hockey. You have to. That's all you can do is just love it. Like, how can you not love watching this team? They might stress you out.
Yeah, whether it's double overtime or
you're
winning 3-0 in the first period.
Yeah, they stress you out like crazy, but you gotta love this team. There's no in between. There's no in between. There's just love it. You gotta love this team. That's all you can do.
And we'll continue. We will continue to love them. We will continue to provide coverage on them. Make sure you're following Zach and Kat on all the socials. Making sure you're following the Surgecast on all the socials. We'll have you covered throughout in the entire round 2 coming up. But for now, I think this is the end of the episode. Kat, how do I end it? Whoa, like this?
No.
I was going to ask for your thoughts, Rich, but I don't know now after that.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, no one wants them.
Okay.
End it for me. Kat.
No.
Oof.
Oh God, I might go back to unpaid. All right. So thanks so much for tuning in, especially to this live for this episode of the Surgecast. We'll see you next time in round 2 with the Surgecast. See you later, guys.
See you.
There it is.
Oh my gosh.